Like I've said before, one of my favorite parts of the Kirby games is the power-ups. You get them from inhaling certain enemies and swallowing them, stealing their powers and eating them in the process. Now that I think about it, Kirby is nothing but cruel. Sure, he is pink, round and cute. Look at those eyes. He doesn't look happy. We're presented with the creation of Kirby, but nothing about the enemies and why we are massively murdering them. But that's only the NES version though. In Nightmare in Dreamland, this is what presents itself.
Let's wreak havoc!
Kill everything! Eat lots of spaghetti!
Time to eat!
Oh, I'm
gay.
So
Kill everything!
One Direction sucks! Did I mention that I was gay? From what I can tell, they're like saints, being sent to random planets seeking and destroying everything in their path. Just 10 times worse.
It's like Kirby's and spaceships being sent to Dreamland to wreak havoc upon the land.
Nightmare in Dreamland? A fitting title indeed. But this isn't about the story, but about the power-ups. You can get elemental powers, physical prowess, weapons, and sleeping. You can get sleeping. You can sleep! They are all good in their own respect, but I'm gonna list out my 10 favorites. I know, this won't be like,
I like the Crash the most because we can kill everyone on the screen. It's good.
It's not a list of top 10 in terms of how powerful they are, or overall useful, just by personal preference, hence favorites. Number 10.
Spark! You get it from Sparkies and paint rollers draw nimbuses, and it surrounds Kirby in sparks of electricity, shocking any enemy that comes near. This is great for defending yourself while staying mobile, but doesn't have much more to it. I've always loved powers based around electricity, but this one sadly isn't too impressive. Yet, it's on this list, simply because it's pretty cool and useful in some situations.
Number 9.
It's always cool with rare copy abilities. It makes you want to hold on to them when you first obtain them, but in return makes you very upset when you manage to lose them. Throw is obtained by absorbing Fan Fan, or Rolling Turtle in Kirby's Adventure. This copy ability hasn't been used in many games, probably because it's better off being merged together with powers like Suplex, which I believe it did in Kirby Superstar. Regardless of all this, it's a good ability, letting you throw enemies 3 different ways. It deserves a spot on this list.
Number 8.
Speaking of Suplex, or in this case, Backdrop. This is one of the many reasons I prefer this version over Kirby's Adventure. In the original, like the throw ability, you had to inhale enemies to you, then do the backdrop. But in Nightmare in Dreamland, you dash at the enemies instead, making it a much cooler copy ability. If it weren't for that, I would probably have put this on number 9 instead, but there are few things more satisfying than dashing an enemy and smashing it around. It's also where Kirby got his grabs and throws from in the Super Smash series. Also, it's another rare and unique ability, only obtainable by a single mid-boss, this time Bugsy. Backdrop is only used in this and Kirby's Adventure, being replaced by Suplex in later games for similar, but more advanced abilities. Rest in peace, Backdrop.
Number 7.
Wheel! I just have one question. Why is Kirby wearing a cap? Are they trying to tell kids that it's okay to wear a cap while driving, cause it's cool? Anyway, what's more fun than turning into a wheel, driving around, destroying everything in your path? Well, nothing, except when you crash. It controls pretty good, but still has some issues, but it's loads of fun on levels with a straight path. It would have been higher on this list if it were useful for other situations than driving in a straight path, but that's its role, and I accept that. I know I said that placements wouldn't have much to do with how useful the abilities are, but it's a different story when it comes to how it affects controls and gameplay. But Wheelie's great. You get it from Wheelies, the Grand Wheelie, and Paint Roller's car, making it one of those special occasion abilities. Of course, every copy ability has its role, but some are meant for more situations than others. But this one only has one. Whee!
Number 6.
Ah, the good old hammer. There isn't much to say about it, except it's a hammer, and with it, you can smash. It's one of the weapons with the heaviest damage in the game, but also with limited range, making it very difficult to master. You get it from absorbing the famous Bonkers, and oddly enough, from Yogurt Yard's boss Heavy Mole, and the orange Cyclops that it shoots out. I didn't know this at the time, but you're supposed to copy the orange Cyclops to get the hammer, so that you can destroy the dirt to prevent yourself from being trapped behind a wall, and to deal heavy damage to Heavy Mole without having to wait for him to shoot out new Cyclops. Like I did. And like with every weapon, you can use it in water, which is great.
Number 5.
Fire, just in general, is one of my favorite powers in any game or movie, but it's less about fire breathing and throwing fireballs to me, but more about mobility, like burning does in this game. The power to wrap oneself in a coat of flames and then charge forward at super speed, burning enemies along the way. That's a thing. But even though I love mobility type copy abilities like this and wheel, I still enjoy abilities that will let me move around more freely, which is why this isn't higher on the list. But since I'm an absolute sucker for flying around in flames, it's here. I like fire. Not this fire, this fire! It's obtainable by inhaling flamers and the mid-boss Fire Lion. And closing statement, I'm going to go play some Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Number 4.
Cutter might have been a bit downgraded in Nightmare in Dreamland, because of some lag time due to the new frames of animation, but it's still freaking awesome. It's unrelated, but Sir Kibble is one of my favorite Kirby enemies of all time. Just look at the little guy. And yes, you get to look almost as awesome after swallowing him. You don't use it for much in this game, but for me, it will always stay as a favorite. Which is why it's on this list.
Number 3.
I don't know about you, but getting laser for the first time, randomly shooting, hitting a slope, seeing the beam ricochet off, it's one of those special moments ahead in Nightmare in Dreamland. With it, you get a high-tech visor that lets you shoot long-range lasers with high damage, making it the most useful ranged copy ability in the game. You only get it from laser balls, but they appear pretty often, so you'll have plenty of great moments with this awesome power. This needs to be in more Kirby games. Come on, HAL, Nintendo, Masahiro Sakurai-sama,
And numerus 2.
Nightmare in Dreamland is crowded with sword and blade knights, making sword one of the most common cop abilities in the game. And there isn't really much to it in this game. You can do basic horizontal swipes both on land, in the air, and in the water. It's like the hammer, just lighter and with a longer range, but in return less damage. But that's not what I care about. For starters, the weapon sword is one of my favorite melee weapons in general, so to me it just feels natural to favoritize the sword copy ability. It still controls great, and the best part, in most Kirby games is a reference to Link from the Legend of Zelda series. So yes, my inner Zelda fanboyism is taking control, making this list nothing but biased. But hey, it's my list of my favorite copy abilities, so it's fine. Sword is awesome.
Number 8. That's one in Japanese, right? Probably isn't.
What is that? Oh, look at the cute UFO. Oh well, let's just get the laser, spark, or whatever the copy ability has. Wait. Oh my god! Remember what I said about throw being cool because you don't get it too often? And when you first get it, it feels great and you'll do whatever it takes to hold on to it. This is that feeling, just 100 times better. UFO offers permanent levitation, and well, you look awesome. What else do you need? You get 4 different attacks based on how long you charge it. Anything from normal small projectiles to a large powerful ball of pain. This is what I want from a copy ability. As you can see, I can still move around while charging and shooting, and it's so freaking awesome! Look! Look! It might be the most powerful copy ability in the game, making my previous rant about Crash being a lame addition to the list useless. But keep in mind, Crash is a limited use, simply push of a button killing everything on the screen. Now, as far as this gameplay goes, where's the fun in that? I don't have UFO as number 1 because it's overpowered, but because it controls well, has multiple uses, and was one of the biggest surprises in the game for me. The greatest part about it is the sheer feeling of reward. With exclusive copy abilities like Throw and Hammer, where you have to kill a mid-boss to gain it, the UFO has the same sense of reward. For starters, they move around the screen quickly, and sometimes even go off screen on purpose. And guess what? Unlike other enemies, they don't respawn. So not only are they rare, but when you first find them, you have to act quickly. So when you gain the ability, you feel twice as great as getting any other. Also, for whatever reason, when you reach the top floor in the end of every level, UFO Kirby's there. Game developers and their randomness, gotta love them. Anyway, this has been my 10 favorite copy abilities of Nightmare in Dreamland. Seeing how most Kirby games share copy abilities, making a list for every game might get a bit strange, but I'll see what I can do about it. But when I've played them all, expect a top 10 of all time. Also, seeing how I have only completed 4 Kirby games so far, I still have a long way to go, even spin-offs aside. So far, I'm loving the Kirby series and can't wait to play the rest. Have a nice day, everyone, and I'll see you guys the next time. Say, how about you leave a like for old Jesper? And also some comments. You can comment about the fact that Kirby's pink if you want. But don't you dare say that Conker is yellow. He is all green. Time to play some Pokemon Stadium!